Hello everyone, Finger Year here. Today I'm going to be talking about how I approach drawing from life or drawing from a photograph in terms of like realism and pretty much my process, whether it's digital or traditional. And so starting out, uh, it's very important if you're trying to be accurate to plot out your big areas first because you don't want to go into tighter detail just to have to erase it later if it's not proportioned out correctly. Like you want to be able to have everything plotted out and then later be able to go into finer details. Uh, like right now, I wouldn't call this the finer details, I'd just call it somewhere in between. I'm still plotting out areas and just trying to find the shapes within the painting. It's a lot easier this way to go in and just find, areas of value, areas of saturation. And it's also important to, at least when you're painting, using color, to lay out your, at least it's important to me, to lay out your colors first, like your saturations, so that you're not having to go in and find the colors later or mix in the colors. You can grab them from the painting. I guess this applies only to the digital art, and that's why I like digital art so much. I don't have to mix colors or, clean my brushes afterwards. And so, yeah, these details, I didn't do as well as I could have in terms of plotting out my shapes in this painting, because I kind of just made this to try and teach one person who had requested it, but I thought I might as well make a whole video about it because I like this sort of thing. As you see, like the ear is like way too close inside of the face. It doesn't even make sense. But later I do fix that. That's a mistake on my part, and it's easy to fix on digital art, but in real life that would have been much harder to fix. And so I tried not to take colors from the painting, even though, or the actual picture, even though it's right there, because it's good to practice your own color recognition without it, because sometimes you don't have a photo reference. You're just drawing from your head, and it's good to know. It's good to have that practice. And so that you're able to draw more realistically from your mind, which I am trying to do. For a while I've been trying to step away from realistic painting, which is what I am technically trained in, but a lot of people seem to enjoy my more realistic style, so I'm probably just going to jump back into that. And also in this painting I did make his nose a bit long, but I think it still translates pretty well. What's important to me right now is getting the colors right. That's what I was really trying to practice in this. I didn't make it as yellow as it is in real life, but anywho, you see here I'm just going into tighter details. Me personally, I don't like using the blending tool. I like to just grab the colors that are already in the painting and just kind of I feel like it, not that it makes a more natural look, because sometimes blending is the more natural look, but I kind of like it when people can see my brush strokes in a way. I like, or at least I like to be able to see my own process. And this is one of the tighter details I've like ever done on a digital piece. And of course I could have even gone into even tighter details. There's almost no limit if you're gonna go. You could go almost identical. You can go in with pores and stuff like that. But yeah, as we go in, oftentimes with like patterns in the skin, whenever I'm rushing, or I shouldn't say rushing, whenever I'm painting without being extremely zoomed in, you notice like patterns like that either pores create or that your iris creates, and you could go in and make them like very realistic and very identical to the photograph. But for me, I just kind of, if I see a pattern that repeats itself like the iris does, it's hard to see in the actual picture, but I just kind of made it approximate. I could have gone in and made like the exact iris, but for me, this was just supposed to be a quick painting. And when it comes to color, with pretty much any skin tone, there's going to be a lot of reds. You know, our blood's red, it's going to shine through. I believe I made another video like that about why that happens. And also where the skin is very thin, like on the lips and the eyelids, that's when your blood and your dark tissues are going to show through. That's why those are usually redder. I'm not quite sure why the corners of the nostrils, like the outside corners, are, you know, tend to be red. I think it's just because it's catching the shadow, and it's just, I guess, where a lot of blood is. I don't know. But it usually ends up being like that, unless people have like a very soft nose that I guess doesn't have very much irritation, I suppose. I don't know. Also, you'll see when people are like sick, they have redness around their nose and their eyes. I'm not quite sure if that happens, but it's a good way to translate your painting's, your character's current state. And now when it comes to mouths, I think mouths are like my least favorite thing to paint when it comes to portraits and faces. I know it's a lot of other people's favorite part. I follow a lot of art accounts on Instagram where they focus a lot on the mouth and the lips. I just find it a little bit annoying because the way they reflect is just, it's very specific to each person, and I'm sure if I worked hard enough I could find joy in it somehow. But yeah. My true favorite part to paint is the nose, which I've been told is odd, but I like the natural reds that come out of the nose. And here is painting the neck. And when it comes to painting necks, they usually do have these like horizontal lines. That's just natural, you know. The way to draw like wrinkles and stuff is you know, just dark on the bottom and light on the top. And then for ears I find very difficult. They just have so much contrast in them, and just so many different shapes, and every ear is different, you know. But also they can really make your painting. They can make your, you know, if something looks off about your painting, it pretty much throws off the whole thing, especially when you're trying to replicate realism. See, here I am fixing that proportion. So you can see how easy it is to do in digital, but in traditional you would have to like erase the whole thing, or, you know, paint over the whole thing. That's why I like digital. I wouldn't say it's easier, I'd just say it's a lot more forgiving. But yeah, and unfortunately I stopped recording the video. All I want to say about the hair is that hair is very different, you know, per person, per lighting. I'd probably have to make a separate video on hair alone. I myself am still learning about hair, but I think that it would be valuable to also teach it to you. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope this helped a little. If I left anything out, please tell me in the comments. And if you want to know, if you have any suggestions or want to know anything else about realistic painting or how I approach my semi-realistic painting, yeah, just tell me about it and I'll try and make it for you. Thank you.